Hello and welcome to a brand new series of Beginner's Guide to Apple's Reminders. Now, why am I doing this mini series of videos? Well, the first reason is that Apple have been doing a lot of work in the background to make Reminders a really solid application. Plus, Reminders integrates beautifully with Siri, which makes collecting tasks really simple. And that is a key part of becoming better organized and more productive. So I thought I would put together a few videos. I'm not sure how many yet, but I'm going to put together a few videos that's going to take you through the steps of setting up Reminders so that it works for you. Now, I first should point out that Reminders is not a fully or a massively featured to-do list, but in many cases, that's what gives it its advantage because it's so simple. However, it might be simple, but we do need to set it up right. And that's what I'm going to start showing you in these series of videos. Now, before we go any further, I would just like to say if you do get any value from these videos, then please help me by clicking on the like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, and you want to get all the latest tips, tricks and news on using Apple's productivity tools, then please subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's take you in to Apple Reminders on Mac OS Ventura. To start with, we will cover the mobile devices later to show you basically everything that you have with Reminders. Right, so if you've never opened Reminders before on your computer, then this is going to be the first screen you see when you open Reminders. And all it's telling you is what's new in Mac OS Ventura. This also, by the way, applies to iOS 16 and iPad OS 16. So what we've got is pin your favorites, create templates, see what you've completed, and lots more. Now, we're not going to cover all those in this first episode. I'm just assuming that you're completely new to Reminders, are curious, and perhaps want to start using it. So let's hit the continue button. And Reminders is going to open. Now, Reminders has one small, tiny problem on Mac OS, and that is the inability to make the text size bigger. So when I hit the usual button to make text bigger, which is Command and the plus key, nothing happens. And if I go into View, hang on, we're just going to View up at the top here. And for some reason, my mouse, let's go into the view. It's not going to allow me to make anything bigger, which is a shame. But on your iOS devices, it's incredible. Now, the first thing I'm going to suggest you to do is to set up some lists. Now, I've already got some set up here because this is just something that I've been playing around with. But you can see that I've got an inbox, I've got my shopping list, I've got books to read, TV to watch. Now, it's really quite simple to set up a list. All you need to do is go down to the bottom. Let's go to today so you're not seeing all that stuff. We'll go down to the bottom here and you'll see that I've got a button down here that says Add List. So I'm going to hit that. And now I get a number of options. So I'm going to set this up as a routines folder. We'll just call this routines. Now, I have a number of options that I can do here. First of all, I can choose the color of this list. So I'm going to give this the color blue or purple, I'm not sure. Now I can choose an icon. Now I can use the standard one here, or I can just click on that and it will give me emojis. So I can choose emoji. It's probably not emoji. Click on this and it will give me a lot of little different glyphs, as they're called. Not too many, but there's a few there. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to hit this one here and we're giving it a color. And all I have to do then is hit OK. And you'll see that my routines are down here. Now, quite simply, to add a task, you can just tap your mouse in there and clear out the rubbish in the office. Now, what I want to do is I want to do this every day. So I'm just going to type in every day. Let's see if this works. Oh, we have to do every. Actually, no. What we're going to do is every week. So now what is going to happen is Reminders is smart enough to see that you've given this a date. So I'm actually going to do and just tap on that tomorrow weekly. So this now is a repeating task. It's going to repeat every Sunday, as the case, because I'm recording this on a Saturday. I can add notes in the task right here, and I can add tags if I want to. So that's basically how we add tasks. Now, of course, you can add tasks by Siri. Now, the first thing I want you to do, though, when you're setting up reminders, is to set up your list. And the first one that I want you to do is to set up a list called Inbox. Now, the reason for that is because your inbox is going to be your default list. Now, to make sure that this is your default list, you're going to need to go into your Finder's settings and in the settings, you get right up at the top here called default list. Now, I can choose any of the lists that I have in my list view, but I'm going to use Inbox. Now, there's a very, very good reason for that, is because then all I need to do, if I'm using Siri, if I'm on the run, and I'm using my Apple Watch or I'm using my phone, and I want to add a task quickly using Siri, Siri is going to, if I just say something like, hey, you know who, pick up shopping from supermarket or something like that, she will then add that to my inbox. I call her she because my Siri is the female voice. So that's something that you just want to be aware of. I would say when you're setting up reminders, this is the first thing you want to do. So you can do it in here. You can pin the list, by the way, which you don't necessarily need to do that. You can show list information, but what you need to do is to go into the settings, reminders settings, and make sure that the default list is inbox. This means that anything that you collect in your inbox into your reminders is going to start here unless you specify which list. So this is just a quick overview video, but what we can do here, for example, plan ahead with Todoist upcoming view, a spacious way to view tasks. This is just a website that I've done. So let's just say I'm going to do that on a, we'll go in here and we'll say, I want to do that on, now I can go into I can go into the information here and I can add this. I can add a task. I can remind me on a day. That's now going to give me a date option. Let's do that tomorrow. And I can do at a time if I wish, which I'm not going to do, at a location. And that's using your phone. And I'm not going to repeat it. And I'm not going to give it a priority. But you'll see that it's giving me the actual website address. I can also add a flag in here. So we can do flag. I can flag it because it's important. I'm not going to do. But there we go. I've just now added the date. And you'll see that it's coming up there tomorrow. Cook dinner when I arrive at home. That's to say I've done that. So once you hit the task, it will disappear. Productivity, shame. How to stop feeling like you haven't done enough. Again, I've set this as a geotag, which I don't really want to do, but we can go into the information here and I can now turn off the at location and I can say at a day. And again, I've got this as the 5th of November. I'm going to change that to the 7th because I'm busy on the 5th or something. And there you go. So you've got a few ways of doing this. Now, this is the Mac OS version. I don't feel that the Mac OS version is as optimized as using it on your phone or iPad, but this is actually a good place to go if you actually want to start doing your planning. So up here you have a number of options which we'll come into in a later episode, but the most important thing really is your today list. What's coming up today, and then you can see what morning, afternoon or tonight. That is if you've actually assigned a time to the task. So that's really what I wanted to give you today. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of setting up your list. This is the most important thing. We're going to come to groups in a future episode, but the most important thing is adding lists. And all you have to do is go down to the bottom there and you can create your list. We're going to be looking at smart lists and templates and things like that at a later date. But for now, if you want to get to do is set up, the most important thing is setting up a few lists that really mean something to you, and also setting up your inbox. That is the most important one, really, because what you want to be doing is making sure you have your default list set up so that you can start using Siri with reminders straight away. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you for watching this video. Now, I'm very excited to tell you that the 2022 edition of my Create Your Own Apple Productivity System course is now available. This year, we're utilizing the brand new features in reminders and notes. We're going to be looking at how you can use the tags to create an even better productivity system. We're also looking at how iCloud comes into the picture and your calendar. This is a complete productivity and time management setup that, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, I can guarantee is going to make your life so much easier. No more overwhelm, no more stress, no more forgetting events or tasks. It's all going to be there in your own system that I show you how to build. It also includes the time sector system and my brand new notes organization system, Capra. Okay, I hope you get time to join this course, and don't forget, if you're already enrolled in this course, my promise to you is every year it's a free update. I hope you enjoy the course, and it'd be lovely to see you in there.